Hartenstein in the offseason, huge. Because, Skip, I looked the other day, man, there was like 9 or 10 different defensive categories that Oklahoma City was number 1 in. Like 9 or 10 different categories.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. Please like the video and subscribe. Our target is only 1,000 likes. The Lakers and the Mavericks have sent the NBA world into a frenzy. The teams had completed a trade that will send Luka Doncic to the Lakers and Anthony Davis to Dallas. While the two stars are the center of the deal, the Lakers will also get Maxi Kleber and Markieff Morris, while the Mavericks will receive Max Christie and a 2029 first-round pick. The Jazz are also involved in the trade and will get Jalen Hood and a 2025 second-round pick via the LA Clippers from the Lakers. Dallas is also sending a 2025 second-round pick to Utah. So Dallas came to the Lakers offering Doncic. Then the Lakers reportedly believed the 5-time All-Star has what it takes to someday be the face of the franchise.
All right, fair enough. All right, bigger picture. How far can this Laker team go with Luka and LeBron? Can they? I don't know what you think of my Oklahoma City Thunder, or can they get past the Thunder? Who do you like in the West?
I'm willing to bet they're going to get to the conference finals. Okay. Can they beat Oklahoma City? Yes. Will they? Not so sure. No. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a superstar. He's a superstar without question, right? And the pieces they have around them, and the pickup of Alex Caruso and Hartenstein in the offseason, huge. Because, Skip, I looked the other day, man, there was like 9 or 10 different defensive categories that Oklahoma City was number 1 in. Like 9 or 10 different categories. I mean, they were even number 1 in loose balls acquired. I mean, it was ridiculous. Anything that had something to do with defense, they were number 1. And so one could easily argue Luka, LeBron, and the crew, they ain't faced that yet.
No,
they haven't faced that kind of challenge. The flip side is that Oklahoma City is unproven. They're young, and you're going to have to go out there and show who you are and what you're made of. Now, we know Shai Gilgeous is going to do his thing. We saw him do it in the playoffs last year against Dallas. Where was his help? He didn't have it. We know Jalen Williams could play, but he didn't have that great of a series. We know those boys can play.
Stephen, I remember that Game 6 at Dallas. It went to the last drop, and Shai Gilgeous lost, to quote you, lost his damn mind. And he fouled PJ in the corner on a 3-point shot and lost them the game, which he never, ever does.
Yeah.
He's such a smart player, high IQ player. And that's how close it came to them getting it back to a Game 7 and then OKC. So I think they got a little scar tissue that will benefit them.
But we all know that you're from Oklahoma City.
I am.
We all know how you favor your Thunder. Here's my disappointment in you.
Yep.
When are we going to point the finger at Sam Presti? Sam Presti is a fabulous executive. I know that. But Skip Bayless, he got to close the deal. Man. You can't, I'm going to go down the list and I'll probably forget a few names, but let me go down the list. Sam Presti, as the boss of basketball operations for the Oklahoma City Thunder, he had these 5 dudes together: Kevin Durant, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Serge Ibaka, Reggie Jackson. Okay. He had that going on together. Let's not forget, Steven Adams. Let's not forget him. Okay.
Yep.
He had those players. Also, he's had Russell Westbrook with Carmelo Anthony, Russell Westbrook with Paul George, Russell Westbrook with Victor Oladipo. You know, you look at these players. Right now, you got Shai, and he clearly is exceptional at building a roster. 17 years and you don't have one championship? Not one? Come on, Skip. At some point in time, it can't be about being competitive. It can't be about just getting there. It's got to be about getting over the hump, which is why I've said over the last couple of weeks, I said, let me tell you something. Y'all call me crazy. But if I'm Oklahoma City and I got some picks, because they got everything. I mean, they just wiped the floor. I mean, the Clippers for the Paul George deal.
They did.
The Russell Westbrook deal. Yep. I mean, let me tell you something, man. With all the assets they have, if I got to give up a few of them to bring Kevin Durant back home and pair him with Shai and pair him with Chet, Hartenstein, Caruso, and if I got to bring that brother to Oklahoma City to deliver me a championship, I can't use all the assets anyway if I'm Sam Presti. But at some point in time, we got to at least ask, when you going to close the deal? instead of allowing him to just celebrate the fact that his teams are competitive and in the mix all the time. At some point, then you got to close.
Okay, you mean you wanted them to go get Kevin at the trade deadline for draft picks?
Personally, I would have. I thought about that, but since you're the number one seed and you're rolling, and Hartenstein and Holmgren and Caruso are all there, I don't blame him for that. But my biggest deal is that if you don't win it this year, you gotta give up those assets and go get somebody like a Kevin Durant.
Do that. And by the way, to defend him only on this score, remember when he had Durant, Westbrook, and Harden, his ownership, starting with Clay Bennett, wouldn't pay the freight to keep James Harden, right?
Right.
Because he was going to get a max deal.
You remember that story, right? You know how much that was for, right? Remember that?
I do. And Lebitard said to you, he also asked me on air about this, that you and I, from a period of about 2011 to 2016, ruined the television sports business. What was your response to that?
I told him, what the hell is he absolving himself from it for? I said, you want to talk about me and Skip? What about you? You had strong opinions, Lebitard. You sat up there and clowned around. You did a whole bunch of stuff. Why are you acting like it was us? You know, and you know, it really bothered me, you know, when he said that, because listen, for better or worse, you know, I think you could be hyperbolic. I think you could be crazy half the time. You know how I am with you. But I've always acknowledged the man mean what he says now. And I always tell a story of when you and I used to do old school, new school on Sunday mornings with the great Bob Lee. And I said, we were both in a bureau cam in New York City. And I said, Skip knows this story. Skip will tell you, he'll nod his head in that information. He knows I'm telling the truth. And I forgot what had happened. And Skip comes on national television and says, there should be an 11 o'clock curfew for athletes. Athletes shouldn't be allowed outside after 11 o'clock. And I said
12. I think I said 12, but go ahead.
It was 11.
Yeah.
It was 11, Skip Bayless. Trust me, I'll never forget the story. And you said 11 o'clock. And I started screaming, how old are you, Skip? How old are you? So I'm sitting there and we're going back and forth, and Bob Lee is having a blast. And I come out. We both come out of our respective bureau cams, and I looked at you and I said, that was some great television, man. That was really hilarious. You know, the way I said, that was good for you to say, man, that's a good thing. And you looked around, and then you looked at me and you said, I'm serious.
I'm serious.
Nothing good that
Dead serious.
For an athlete after 11 o'clock. And I tell everybody that story because I say, that's when I knew.
Yeah.
That's Skip Bayless. He's not playing. He means this stuff. He ain't laughing. He's not joking. He really, really means this stuff. And I said, and that's when I knew that if we were ever on television together, we would win, because I knew we thought nothing alike. And in the years to follow, as I've had different partners and different responsibilities and all of that other stuff, I've always told people, working with Skip Bayless every day, understand that took a load off me. Like, I can go out to the West Coast for an NBA Finals. I don't have to be at the morning meeting. Skip could. I said I was usually there, but I said I didn't have to be. If I needed mornings off, Skip had it, because he knew exactly what was working. He knew, I'll touch this subject. There's no way Stephen A is going to agree with this. I'll touch that subject. There's no way Stephen A is going to agree with it. I said he knew instinctually. You didn't have to ask. He knew, and that's what made us us.
All right, we detonated for the first time when we got back together. This would be after Old School, New School, after Fox Sports Net.
Yep.
Jamie Horowitz brought you on to First Take as a permanent resident. Yeah. And we were right in the middle of the Tim Tebow run in 2011. And I can't have you on with me without bringing up my greatest moment in my career, which could have been your lowest moment in your career, was Tebow's touchdown pass in overtime in the home playoff game against your Pittsburgh Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger and Mike Tomlin, that won the game for the then Denver Broncos. Do you remember that moment?
Well, first of all, I'll never forget it for several reasons. Number one, at the time, I mean, you know me. I mean, I'm happy. I'm good now and all of this stuff.